Malethola Nkwe, affectionately known as Gogo Maggie, is a remarkable South African humanitarian who has dedicated over 6 decades of her life to caring for society's most vulnerable members. Despite starting school at age 10 and facing financial hardships, she excelled academically and became a nurse before making a life changing decision in 1978 to leave her nursing career and save the Orlando Children's Home, the only sanctuary for abandoned African children at the time. Through her unwavering commitment, she rebuilt the institution and created a nurturing environment for countless children. Beyond childcare, Gogomeki has been a fierce advocate for women's rights, disability rights, and community dignity, founding organizations like the Widows Forum and serving on presidential committees. Her extraordinary service has earned her prestigious recognition, including the Simon of Cyrene Award, a human rights award from the Commission of Gender Equality, and the Order of the Baobab, South Africa's highest civilian honor. A true mother figure to abandoned children and champion of the marginalized. Gogomeki's legacy spans early childhood development, literacy, education, victim support, and the restoration of human dignity across South African communities.
In a world where Africans have lost their roots, it has become of vital importance to document our ways. In an effort to reverse the brainwashing of the past, where we were made to believe our ways are demonic, we are pressed to create dignified and respectful platforms to unpack our spiritual ways.
The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the beliefs or position of this channel, its hosts, or affiliates. This podcast is a platform for open discussions and exploration of various perspectives, including controversial and unconventional ideas. We encourage viewers to think critically, do their own research, and form their own opinions. The content is for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be taken as fact, advice, or an endorsement of any specific viewpoint. Viewers' discretion is advised. Umoya Ulight, Umoya Ubright. Welcome to another episode of MOYA Podcast. Thank you for all your support, guys. We see the numbers are growing. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you especially to the members who are helping us keep the lights on every month. Thank you so, so much. And thank you for watching all the adverts till the end, guys. We are seeing a difference and we're seeing your contribution. So in the School of MOYA, we're going to give you the education that you're not going to get at the Mlungu schools. We are going to tell you who your heroes are and unearth them for you so that there's not a big gap between the past and the future. And obviously, this podcast, we're doing it so that future generations know the names of the people who fought for us. The reason we have these podcasts and have these platforms is because people actually fought and took it to the streets. We are unlike the 76 youth. So it is our responsibility to celebrate everything that all the community members came together to make sure Guti si sharp, guys, and we are not in the streets fighting the battle ourselves. We've got Gogo Maggie Nkwe namhlanje, big ancestor of South Africa. It's unfortunate that we live in a country that does not show you guys who you're supposed to know, but thankfully MOYA is here. We're going to unpack Gogo Maggie's story, her contribution to the struggle. You guys are going to learn a lot about the radical black feminists, because it does not start with us. There's a generation of women who came before us and showed us how to love ourselves as Africans and how to be strong women who actually do something.
Amen.
Kamaku. Thank you, Gogo Maggie, for agreeing to chat to us. So, in Africa, we preserve history through storytelling and talking to our elders.
Okay.
So, can we
unpack, like, where did you grow up? What was your story? I hope you still remember. I mean, it's a long time.
I was born at Tarfontein. My mother came to my grandmother's workplace, my kitchen, highly expectant of me. So ndafika ke ndafihlwa apho emarumini so that umadam angaboni nebelungu bangaboni. Anyway, to cut long story short, labor pains started. And umakhulu wami nomamncinci belapha bengama-midwives belethisa mama. So I don't know how they controlled my first cry yomntana. All the time as midwives simela ukuthi that cry sive. So in my case, my cry was suppressed. Ngoba belungu bazakufa. How they did that, I don't know. Hence, my Sesotho name is Malethola. Silence. Anyway, the mandikata uzawudibanisa wena indaba. And then, few days thereafter, they introduced me to the madam. I think immediately this woman saw me, some light shone on my face that endeared her or me to her. Ngoba waske wandithanda, what a beautiful baby. Waba interested kuyo yonke into enziwayo. I just ndimandisiba izinto. Nasokufanele ukuthi ndiyobhabhadiswa phaa St. Peter's, Rosettenville, where my grandmother used to attend church. She asked, what? Well, she knew, she heard my name was Malethola. But she asked, now kuyobhabhadiswa, what's a Christian name? Mama wathi, andinayo. So I offer the name when I met them, Maggie, which is Maggie. Well, it had to be accepted. Then women were united, working together for my sake, to survive. I was surrounded by domestic workers because my grandmother was a domestic worker, my mother, my aunt, my relatives and all that. And we had another family, Utatobo Makuluam, Klalema Plus, Jackson Street, so that when we wanted to visit or change environment, we would go to Jackson Street. So, we low meko, no schooling for me. And then Makulu, oh yeah, I think another thing that I must put in was my mother got married to a divorcee, a man who had 7 children. But, well, he was divorced, so they met wherever they met, and they got married. So my grandmother wathi, hayi, umntana wam lo, umntana wam. Ndizawuhamba naye apho ndihamba khona. Yazi abantu basemakhitshini ke uyaphela umsebenzi angene komnye, ndihamba nomakhulu. So no schooling. Cut long story short.
What year is this? Around
1938.
Oh, the 30s, okay.
Yeah. And then I had a malume, Philemon Khatebe. So he was very active, election, Masakeni. well, ke Masakeng ke Soweto ke lekeisheneng well ke lekeishene mara ne le Masaka. So ntatona le ntate Sefasonke Mpanza, who was then our African leader, elwela ukuthi abantu babe nezindlu ezithize baphume emasakeni kungene build, structures that are built with izitina. So that was successful. And umalume wam wathi one of such structures, the number one shelters, will be a home for my sister-in-law, for my sister and my umama, which means my grandmother. And then the houses were allocated or were offered to people who were married, not nje ungatshadanga. So my stepfather, no mama wam, acquired that house, number one shelters.
This is in Orlando.
Some shelters, number one shelters is not far from Orlando Stadium.
Okay.
It's by railway line, go area elapho.
Just for clarity,
Yes.
So you're saying that Umpanza that we read about in the history books, this is the same movement.
Umpanza. Utata Umpanza.
Ewe.
Sefasonke Mpanza.
Ewe.
Ebeyilida elwela abantu.
Ewe.
Elwanela itukelo zabantu. That is why how it's whatever anniversaries khona sasiye silandele ngeculo elithi votelani Sefasonke, votelani inyaniso. And bokuyinyaniso ngenyani ngoba uSefasonke Mpanza ebeyaphaya ema-ofisini awe-mayor okha aba athi andizukuhamba apha, I won't move from here until I've got my answers for my people. That's why we got ama-shelters. Number one shelters, number two, number three, number four. So kwangathi kuba said, and those shelters, the environment was very clean. Bokukuhle, abantu be-cooperate, kukhona i-taps zamanzi, kukhona ablution blocks, hole hantle batho baphila butho, although in a room one you had to add a veranda to make a bigger space. But then the great thing about that situation at that time was that I then started to go to school. All this time since I was born, now this time, ngathi say a bit settled. How old was I? 10 years old. Ndiyongena phi eSalvation Army. Neritsa Brochomole, not far from Orlando Stadium, nasi isikolo sama-Salvation Mission School. Those days, schooling was wonderful. Bukhona ne-feeding scheme. And kukhona nemithandazo, lest I forget this important part, assembly. Assembly kuyathandaza sicula ama-choruses. Noba umama wakho ebevuke ekuseni emakhitshini, wena you were assured of a good beginning ngomthandazo. And that helped us ukuthi sizazi ukuthi siphilela ntoni singabantwana bakabani. So not what is happening ngoku. I really, lest I forget this point, I really want to emphasize this point yokuthi akusathandazwa ngoku. I don't even know the reasons kuthiwe hayi whatever the reasons. And that is why izikolo zingemanga kakuhle bana abasahlompa ditšhere bana ba sa hlomphana gwa lwaniwa gwa hlabiwa ko sekolong o qamakwe uphi sithe nasiqala sicule icule lithi ezulwini kulawula yena uphi lo nkulunkulu uphi lo kuri motho o laolang o kae. And noba singathi ukhona, if we don't follow akho nto engalunga. In short, my plea or my plight ukuthi let us go back to the proper roots. One time I traveled from Cape Town in disciplining Tambo Airport. I sat next to an Indian woman. I'm a coast class, it doesn't take long before we talk. And then I asked her what she was doing. She said she was a teacher. I said, oh, what grades? At religious teaching. What do you mean by that? Abantwana emaklasini abo. After the classes, there are about 2 hours sessions there to thina religious teachers, where we take them through kibomang and how they should behave and how they should, survive. So I was very impressed. Thina on the other side, hayi akusekho assembly, akusathandazwa. Setlega ka bomang nasingena, like I just told you so far so Kempanza. Those were strong men. And life yakhe ayikwazi ucima nje siyayikhumbula. And therefore those are the reasons why we have to stop and start siqale kakuhle re hopola rona re bomang re tswa kae boitsholo ba rona bo ntse yang. Anyway, I don't even know besenthetha ngantoni ngoba
yes, we're building Soweto now.
Yeah, esikolweni. And I took schooling very, very seriously. So when there's the home exam, my mother domestic work of work seni mare le nkgono wa ka o teng mo le ena o etsa dikoropo. Mare I must say the support I got from esikolweni and umsebenzi wesikolo ilore ke serious ka wona. As a result of that, though bendimkhulu in a class, we are about grade whatever, mina bendi 10 years, mara ke sa bukhona lento enjinqanelwe yokufunda. Kisinadaba or surrounding yaka ke bana or what or ke motelle or what ke batla ntho ne e ke batlang. As a result of that, number 1, number 2, and all that. And we go up to standard 6. Pass again. The first class. We have been 7 kanzima. But let me tell you what my mother used to say. Hey mama, I know I passed it, but it's number 1, better give take feeling for number. My mother would say, what happened? Koskolo? Number 1, Abutarna, have you passed or not? Into that mama be 1, upasile na. Good to number 1 did not really mean anything. Upasite na. So now it's like yokutyhafanyana. We expected excitement to continue nasekhaya. Mama uzathi na ubasithi na. Anyway, it was very good experience as a primary. Ngoba besi nokungakheranga usatsarkitlala. There was wonderful food, milk, peanut butter and jam slice. Ngesama khona orange, you know. Life was very good at primary. Best encouraged to see hambi Sunday school was salvation. So Sundays, Kinka, Sela, Kiako, Kereking. So all those things supported us a whole. Kitoleki Orlando High. That's where I went to school. Got to ama first class abantu abapashe nge-first class bebengena ku-first King Form 1A, Form 1B. So I was in Form 1A. So what happened was, before I knew what was happening, ngokusebenza kanzima, seriously, ngama-lessons ithuto sekindifumana, yafika i-test. First test endiyitholile, I got 96 or 94% for physics. Your principal was excited. Yo, ntombazana ithole ihayima bani makeze apha kwi-assembly azuma phaa phambili. I went up ukuya phambili. I mustn't forget the important aspect yam yokuthi ku-primary lasinadieta unoya kwesikolweni, there was no problem. Nakufika ku-Form 1 that I can't ndiye ku-Form 1 high school ngeenyawo. Opposite in our opposite our home, sesemzi mhlophe ngoku. Sithole izinto tatumpanza silwele up to sithole izinto ezina how many rooms, 2 bedrooms, dining room, kitchen. So, you know, we're sihlala kamandi, so to say. So, opposite yasekhaya kuhlala ifamily yakabhaqwa. Usistora, it's a nurse yakamasipala. So baba extras ihlangu every 6 months they get shoes, baphaka, you know, ihlangu. So ndayokwindathi sistora ndicela ezungasebenzisi ihlangu ngoba I cannot go high school kamautu as I was doing a primary. So wandinika ke ndafaka amaphepha, ndafaka izinto ngakenya mautu waka ngahamba ngaya esikolweni. So I wasn't aware ukuthi njengoba ndihamba nje ezihlangu ngathi sala phansi. So people who were very, I would say, silly in a way, some senior students, but there comes a girl, got boots. My walking sounded as if I was wearing boots. Anyway, Uncle Principal, we andibuza ndiye phambili phaa baqhwabela izandla ngale percentage grailing. So kanti Form 4 class, there's a man who eventually became my husband. So ebethi ndandigqitha Form 4 class to go to my Form 1 class. So students more class in Form 4. But hey, there comes that I'm sure. There comes that girl with boots on. This guy, but she's clever. Let alone these boots, she's clever. Anyway, ndaqhuba ke ndapasa u-JC. JC, standard 8. Ndafuna ukuthi ndo-applyela i-nursing. It was very difficult to get in-nursing eParagwanese. So I managed nda-apply. Personally, delivered incwadi. And then ngibuze i-receptionist, when will I get an answer? Athi, hi, go 2 weeks or so, ngihamba ngibuyele ekhaya. After 2 weeks ndilapha. You had said 2 weeks, I'm back. When do I get to be admitted? Hi, at the end, I don't know how they spoke around my insistence yokuthatha. Matron at kwi-department yabantu aba-applyayo wathi, just ask this girl, I give her this letter, ayise kumamakhe asayine if avuma yonke into efunekayo apha, ndithathe incwadi ndibuyele ekhaya. Ndithi yo ezinto ezifuna apha, my mother would never afford them, and I'm not taking this letter to my mother, I'm taking it to Sistora, the nurse. Ndaya kuye ndathi, oh Sorabona, wathi, you Malethola, don't worry, we'll buy izinto esingeke senze without zona. But esibhedlele, when you are admitted to train, no one opens your suitcase. Now ungena ngegate. You come in, phethe suitcase yakho ungene, ubhaliswe and so on. Hence, I have this title, Mpho le Mphonyana, it's making Nkwe with an empty suitcase. I entered the hospital to train as a nurse. Unfortunately for me, which were supposed to be in the suitcase was things like a night dress. I didn't have a night dress. I spent the time nokulala nomakhulu wami kwi-floor bed. Ndinxibe ntoni, umama ebendithungela flannel, petticoat, flannel, into yokuthi night dress bendingazithi ntoni. So I didn't have a night dress to start training eParagwanese. Here's the dormitory. We are about 12 girls. Ndiyababona nasozolala banxiba nylon night dresses, namagawn phaya. Some of them were trained as teachers and all that, so bebefuna nursing as a second professional, I think so. So ndahlala ndathi, fortunately, phaya sesinikwe uniform yokuqala not training, class nursing, theory and all that. So one of the dresses was a big dress and all that. One of them, ndalala ngayo. I made a way out. Yokulala, instead of ndilale ndinganxibanga, ndalala one of the dresses. Ndayibekela ecaleni ngoba yiyo ezawuba yi-night dress yam until I can afford to buy myself proper night dress like all others. Fast forward, kule 2 months, I think, there's a pre-nursing course, a theory and all that. I got high marks, and then I got an award for that period, a pre-nursing course. I got a fountain pen. Then bisibhala ama-exam nge-fountain pen, nge-ink pen, ne-pencil. So I was excited. Just thinking back, lo mntana ungene nge-empty suitcase uyazibonakalisa ngoku ukuthi there is life. And the important thing also was, I don't know what was happening around me. I focused on what I was there to do and achieve. Ndiyawutsibela phi ngoku phaa ecaweni. Lo mfokazi kade ndithethelela wazongena Eastern Augustine's emzimhlophe Anglican Church as a server. Mina ngapha umam Phama uyi-principal ye-Sunday school unditrainile ngena ku-Sunday school. Umfokazi naye wangena ku-Sunday school akafuna ukuba away from me. Somehow ubhala nencwadi which I didn't answer ngoba eSalvation bukhona ama-girl guides. The girl guide leader uke wathi kithi emantombazaneni wathi, my girls, don't answer letters from boys because they will interfere with your studies. So when a letter came from this guy, I didn't answer it because I remembered a girl guide to this day. So, but the long and short of it, I had to put in a corner somewhere after Sunday school, teaching Aunt Pam, George Palmer, she prepare for next week. Where do we meet? At her house. Then after those tea and cakes, we walked together with this guy. So somehow I had to give the answer, I'll give it a try. That try was up to the day he passed away. After all the
So how old were you guys when you met?
Well, I was 20, maybe 22. Yeah, 22, he was 24. When we got married. I got married in Trainer, but it was like, you know why we got married? This is because he wanted to be a priest. So ebufundisini, it's a training college. They like encouraged people not to be ujola, but it's not a very good example for young people. You have to decide what you want to marry or what. So somehow I was pushed to that kind of chat, but everything was done properly. Unfortunately, when negotiations happened, my stepfather was not really supportive of me, and I didn't really. It didn't worry me that much because makhulu wami ebelapha and support everything. So everything went ahead even without my stepfather's support. I don't know. I wish I could know why he was not supportive, obviously, because I was not his daughter. Let me put it that way. Anyway, ndathathwa ngabantu bakaNkwe. Utata Daniel Nkwe, my husband's father, was a very nice guy. Wathi noba negotiator phaya bethi umntana wethu sangena isikolo wathi ndifuna bona abangena isikolo ngoba I've experienced about, by the way, I got married to a family at 12 ngomyeni wami. ngoba they were like my mother-in-law got married to utata enabantu ababini. Kanti utata uchata umama enabantu abayi-5. They both had lost their spouses. So when they got married, they already had 7 children. So together they had 5. So my husband was the one of the 3 segments, family.
Okay.
A child number 11. So it was that big family. My father-in-law said, I'm very experienced kubo. Ndiyabafaka abantwana bami isikolo baze bagqibe. Ndiyamfuna untombazana esangena isikolo nje. I'll take care of her. So I got me, and when I was giving the report, I believed to that. And what also made me to believe was somehow I was lacking that fatherly love and care. So I immediately felt, at long last, here I have a father who's opening his arms to me, he is care for me. And I treated my mother-in-law and father-in-law just like that. Just maybe it was an editor when I was after I got married, now this a trainer, and then I had to do partially Nkwe Shaville, Tata Nombama. So when I got there, I go take a holiday, I go Spetlele. Especially, I'm a nurse, work hard. So it means now they live in, I must be on a holiday. So it's a holiday, my first holiday after I'm trying to eat a Shaville. Well, not for the whole month, for a week or so. So when I got there, I found many children. Done about sister-in-law, or whatever. That you go, the older one, that Mamela passes. When I'm not getting holiday, I've not come here to take over irresponsibility any of you. And that's not ngisebenza kanjani apha into endiyaziyo ndim ndivakashile ubaba no mother-in-law no mele ndade. Those are the most important people. Nani ndiyanithanda kodwa I'm not here to take over imisebenzi yenu. Okade evuka ekuseni abasa umlilo abakenze njalo. So I did exactly that. I had no problems. Baqhuba ngomsebenzi yabo. Into engithandi kade ngeza kuwash izitsha ngoba I was very particular. My mother was very particular ngokuwash izitsha. Urinse kahle isikotlo sakho and the cup and everything. Afaduka ahlale clean and so on. So that's how I overcame after I went back to my training. And then
were these people older than you, the ones you told go to them must continue?
One was my age.
And then abanye?
Bebancane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, bebancane marke low age yami akere bathanda ukwenza ebengayenza mari I put it in such a way that I didn't give any option because I didn't wake up in the morning. I woke up and then that nangivuka mother-in-law uzabihlela phathi awusimeki Messi attend most of them and all that okuvasa. Thank you, me. So I
Wow.
Yeah,
Strong boundaries.
yeah, so I got even throughout. Bakhona bosisi kade noba seng-21st born. Ake how kuthi ngwana miriri ngithi mo ufuna ukuthi ngenze angazi isiko labo na ngathi no this is my daughter, my eldest child, kimrata ka miriri, it's my daughter, akunokuthi miriri, and it will end there. Anyway, I don't know what do I want to.
You were speaking about you and father and how your union comes together. Because I need to now we're going to get into how you get politicized.
Hey, I get to be about politics. And anyway, remember Pama was a king, not PC, King Nkwe.
Razapo? Apla?
Not very active. More, it is not PC. King Nkwe.
The Communist Party?
The Communist Party.
Ah, okay.
Because she even went go China as a young girl and all. So, and I got to know about her more after she had passed on. There's a book that was released on her, and how I wished I knew more. I would have gained even more than what I think I got from her. Because in 1976, when there were riots and all that, she used to help around and then Gogo Amaphoyisa nefike gating, I'm a pay gate. No one is going to come in here. There's not a police station or whatever. What is it that you want? Stop honamo gating and off the Hantu Patli Banakam. But one day she called me because I'm showing the product. Maggie, I cannot tolerate what is happening here. The van just passed here with children screaming at the back because dogs were barking at them. They were picked up by Laselokamo. That time, I've got a friend, Molislar, mayor, yes, Johannesburg. They had started an organization they used to call Women for Peace. And Molly said, Maggie, wouldn't you like to join us? I'm not going to join you. I'm not about peace. I am about justice. Because if Hunali justice, peace is an obvious product, justice. So, but that day when Aunt Josie, Mpho le Mphonyana at the parking dogs, I could just imagine what was the situation like. So I phoned Molly. Molly, here's the story. Molly was taken up and organized the Women for Peace. Mrs. Oppenheimer, So what happened? The women went to Protea, headquarters, Samaphoyisa, Estlogumeza. Babus, now, what is it that we hear that children are thrown back or Zeven, Maphoyisa and all that, the behavior Maphoyisa. So whoever was in charge took it up with the appointment with the superintendent of the hospital, Nkwe, to come and explain. So I got a call, sister, we are wanted at the superintendent's office. Superintendents, I don't work under, and I'm not a doctor or something or administrator, Mary. I went. Nandifika ndifumana ukuthi indlu igcwele amaphoyisa ngapha, superintendent no matron in chief, and I have to stand there phambi kwabo. Then they explained the whole thing. And I just felt the truth will set me free. That yes, I didn't see the pain, but my aunt saw it. Who's your aunt? And then this is what happened, because they knew that was happening, and they were just and I'm sure they thought maybe I'll be scared, I don't know, but I just told them straight that is, I mean, she had to tell me, because like they were asking, why did she tell you? The first thing again saying, someone else must help, and that's exactly what I've done. I found Molislar. Molislar belongs to the Women for Peace. I'm sure she can come with her women to help. I suppose this is why we are here in this office. This guy who in charge of Mapoisa, but I just want you to know that ayikho yonke lento antu akade ikhuluma for the first time. My question was, Nabeza for the first time, what do they want? Why this meeting? Anyway, when I left after the meeting, when I left that office, I was quite convinced because if the matron and the superintendent bezuthi khona inest efana lena gifelethu kanti no, nothing will ever happen. Anyway, the struggle for the community went on, especially ngoba khona abaskipha country mala abaseleyo sasala sibahlukumezi, in a sense that there was not a single weekend lapho kungekho umntwana oshonayo. Nafanele siyongcwaba lo mntwana kukhona ama-conditions. There must be not more than 200 people. How do you count abantu abayemngcwabeni? So obviously it meant when Mapolisa decided that we are more than 200, they can shoot. And sometimes we you know, but we had to support each other, especially our mama. We supportane, we be visible. And then whatever happens. I remember at one of the funerals, we were told, oh no, we went back from the funeral, siya endlini, angiti sihulojiwa and all that. Safumana kuti batsesi mobu, modijong, whatever, stamp, whatever. Well, who else would do that? Galulumhlaba and abakade besele babele dikotolo khuthula and all that, basifihlile. Obviously the police just got there and did their damnness. And when we got there, the only person I would think of was Sally Motlan. In a shop, Samagwinya, Kamataka yako Lukuri Abonorutusa yang, that happened going flow south. So Sally, what you don't want Jula Mufas, benza 1, 2, 3, at least there was something that we left with to feed the people. But that used to happen,
Gogo Maggie, sorry to disturb you. Why do you mention Motlana? Because I ask you this because the young people don't know these names. But if you're saying some of these names, it means that the young people should know these names.
Sally was like my sister. We worked together, we worshiped together, and she was detained at women's prison. And when she came back, it's a lovely story. There are many stories, Castel, but I just want to mention this one. When she came back, she phoned me. What make you can I go and serve Orlando Children's Home? What make you come? I wanted to meet someone special. So I got there. When I got there, there was this beautiful lady sitting with her. Utigimi. This was the woman who used to argadil a water. And the influence I had in Museli and whatever it was, this woman, this woman changed bophelo baka ba go tlhokomela batshwariwa. Bavalele kodwa they don't have to be ill-treated. You have to treat them jwalo ka batho. So ever since I met Mama Motlana, I met her sister. So that is why I decided to come and have tea naye up a corner. So it was like Mama Motlana was a mutuna fetola maikutlo a batho. Ile gore emphasize gore because you are doing a job, do it in a humane way. Ka botho. I don't know whether people by ithuta abantu a promotion or what, but this woman was a very good example. Yokuthi Mama Motlana ungene etrongweni go fetola le maikutlo a batho into treating people like human beings. Anyway, so
we are at the part where when the children were dying every week in the 70s.
Yeah, we had a problem.
How old are you that time? In your 30s?
Maybe, maybe 30s, maybe
20,
before
30s?
28, late 20,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe 30s. Mari, Noritata. I remember there was an old lady who was losing sons. And when she lost the third son, she went to Rumutsisa because Neria wrote Sapotana. She was crying but you couldn't see any tears coming out of her eyes. In a way, you look and think, and that it meant what is supported in the true sense of the word. And I must say also that the undertaker, Mpho le Mphonyana, used to be such a helpful person. Mama, I'll deal with this bereaved family. And in no time, funeral sayers are his without those people paying anything. I don't know how he did, but he did it. I remember an old lady who had lost a son who was a breadwinner. So siyaya thina umama bomthandazo somthandazo after umthandazo hlala phansi sibuza umama kuqhubeka kanjani. Mama athi, this was my breadwinner and you know anything nali iphepha lokuthi ade sebenza kuphi mari I can't even go there akinamandla ukuthi ndikaphama emsebenzini okay ndibuza ukuthi na what is it that they can do to help. So from there I went straight kudade kubani nathi here's the family what I'll visit them or visit to mama. The following day what mama get ready at 7 o'clock I'll be here to take you to your son's workplace. And he did that and everything was paid for. And then that kupawati mama, don't tell your relatives ukuthi everything is paid for. I will give you a statement ukuthi ndicharge ntoni. The money we got from workplace has paid for burial. God and food. You've already lost a son. The support. So zathatha penye imali. Ifihle apha kuwe ederini ungabaxeleli nakijaba kijahobata. You know, those are the people who used to give us so much support. How we are family. We've got people who will be willing to help and you know assist it could be umsebenzi. And let me get to Orlando Children's Home.
Yes.
By anything, da improve ngento ezininzi. I did my midwifery, pediatric, postgraduate, and then I go primary health care, nursing. So most of the clinics are manned by primary health care nurses. So 6 of us were chosen, I don't know how they chose us, and gave us intensive training to take history of a sick child, determine what might be wrong, and determine what it is that you can do to help, not diagnosis. We didn't diagnose, but we determine at least in scabies you can use tracing to clear. So like we are chisa, panado, panado syrup in this. So I was in that 6 nurses. Trainer, and then we went to the clinics. I remained as Belede, working with Professor Wextab, attending to patients who were coming in. Mothers were bringing children, abundance. Then there was this Orlando Children's Home, where I used to be a volunteer, working when I'm off duty. I'm 22 days off a week, 1 day we spend at Orlando Home. And then by doing that, then I got to know exactly what is happening at Orlando Home. Then when kuza amarayos leka June 76, white directors at Orlando Home could not come to the children's home. Like the white doctors could not go to the clinics and all that. So because I was a committed voluntary worker here at Orlando Children's Home, Child Welfare Society relied on me. Mrs. Nkwe, sister, can you please help? nayi home ayinabani ngoku, and we will rely on you ukuthi usincede. uThixo nguThixo. I was on leave bendiku-leave ka-June, so I spent most of the time Orlando home, and I was excited about that because June kubanda kungena nama-heaters, so I was released them. Can we have heaters? So many heaters for the boys and girls, and I got everything I wanted because they promised ukuthi noma ngicela ntoni ndizayifumana, oko nje ndingabeka ilihlo ndincede Orlando home. So that's how I got to be attached with children's home. Now, as time went on, authorities, I don't know why they wanted, maybe I have no answers, reasons why they wanted to close Orlando home, being the only children's home catering for blacks that are abandoned and homeless in the then Transvaal.
Yo.
So because I knew that background, I just said, no, it can't be closed. But the authorities, Department of Health was forcing to keep an date, it must be demolished, the home is, it doesn't meet the standards or whatever. So I just felt, no, I don't know what I felt. But I didn't discuss it with anybody. Now it's primary health care, which is quite gratifying service, but I just felt I must resign labesibhedlela. Ngiyonceda Orlando home, ngisebenze full time. But I just didn't know ngiyonceda kantoni, matla, what powers did I have? But I just felt I must do it. I didn't discuss it with my husband. I discussed with Professor Webster and my husband after I had resigned, saying serve notice month, yokuthi ndiyayeka esibhedlele ndiyosebenza full time Orlando home. During those days, nurses used to leave the hospital for greener pastures, basebenza kuma-private hospitals and all that. Mina, I was left the hospital for no greener pastures, for pastures which I had to work hard even to get my own salary and the salary staff. It was difficult. The subsidy was still paid by the government, but the subsidies were to the lowest of all groups. Whites got the highest, then colors, Indian, black, the lowest. But it's a miracle. I can't put a finger with now. What made me resign a hospital where I was assured of, and all that. But I went there due to tickle Udlabalina. What else can I do? I just felt called to do it. And it helped because then I was there. Newspaper nai up to keep a story. It was then. It was not Soweto, in a language bill.
The Voice or something, or the...
No, not the Voice. In a language, Sowetan, the world.
The world,
The
that's
world,
the one. Yes.
Oh, Kita story, kita story di bona, the editors bought Thami bangola hantle. Why is it? Donations through my articles as I told you, what is this reprimand. The most important help engayifumana to save Orlando home was through Molislar. Angithi umyeni wakhe imayor yaseJohannesburg Monty Slar. So one day ndibone khona amaphepha esingathi besine-TV, I don't know, mara nerila haholo mo dipampiri Sowetan ne ke kula kry copy ya Sowetan. So I saw that Korenov was visiting Soweto, Echabulani, to open some services. Sure, Korenov was then Minister of Plurals, that's terminology for black or native, whatever. So that, he's coming here, Soweto. I phoned Modi, no Monty, that here is a minister. Minister Yabantu Baba Votai. Minister Yabo is coming. And the minister here, department here too, I'm sure it was not. Modi, no Monty, they left whatever they were doing, they drove to Soweto. We went to where he was, there was security. But when they saw Monty and abantu bamazi, bathumela i-message ukuthi yes, Monty want to see you and all that. What Monty? Let him in. Sangena nguMonty, uMoli nam. Phethe iphisinyana epampiri ukuthi Orlando home in. Asifika sigqiba singena ngaphakathi, these two babe excited, whatever, babe excited, babudisana, badlala golf together, whatever, whenever they've got time. So uMonty athi, there's something very serious. Actually, ngayo. Here's this woman, there's a home evalwayo and all that. Just kana konyana ewo.
How come the mayor was black?
It was white.
Oh,
Yeah.
Monty, no.
Bamhlophe belungu.
Oh my
goodness.
goodness.
Yeah, later on we had a black mayor, but then it was just...
So these people helping you are Belung?
Yeah, belungu.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ma'am, if there's also time, didn't dibasi, I got to be invited to inaugural lunch at Moli. I don't even know who.
Okay, umweli ngumlungu all along.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, at Korenov, no such home can close. Kupa eskwamini in another box yes cigarette. Write your name and phone number up. I do this because I don't want to forget. Sometimes you give izinto kubantu osebenza nabo, it just disappears. But this is very serious. No such home can close. Why is the I say video already? Just heard that, and the three of us were excited. We just thought we achieved something. And indeed we did, because Korenov followed it up. Well, finally, department, native, whatever.
Affairs,
Vogel was the person in charge, Lapo. 1, 2, 3, the chairman had to yabizwa, and the chairman nefika paya, Vogel, the one who director, if there's anything that Maggie Nkwe did, she told lies. Half of the things that she told the minister were lies. Not leave alone from chairman board, not at least half was. And I think you guys have again. From that day, we were given 99-year lease. Orlando home was saved. After using Sowetan or the world, making noise wherever I could save Orlando Children's Home. So that is where we are now. At least Nancy Isamile is still struggling here and there, but Isamile is Valwe. And when it was the only such home. I access to Kibuakaing.
You work with gender, with women.
Well, I like that actually because I don't want to forget black-sex women.
Yes.
Black-sex women, interesting gender now. You advising other young women to do is to not to be lazy. When you see an advert, go to Kony meeting and don't go. Because if you don't go, you don't get to know what those people are about. So I used to do a lot of that. So there was this black-sex women, but the theme was you and your past. So I went there, my goodness, only to get a shock of my life. Because the black-sex explained to us what the classifications we passbook yet A melentoni, B melentoni, C melentoni, D melentoni. The worst classification was the D1. Apo, when your husband dies, you are evicted from the house. That is why most of the houses were being sold to people abafuna izindlu ngoba indoda utata nengayitshona lapha widow mayiphume nabantwana. So the first one, you must have a birth certificate. Those days nobody cared ukuthi umuntu omnyama deserve a birth certificate. The second one, you must have worked in a place or in an urban area for 10 years, not less than 10 years. So that information was, I was classified D. And I knew I didn't have a birth certificate. But a salvation school, I was there for more than 10 years and all that. Why should I have classification D? And this was deliberate because befuna ukuthi sihambe uyabona. So from that meeting I came back ngathi I could fly back to organizing people, telling them about the information we received from Access. And everywhere nasecaweni abomama ngithi khiphana ama-ID nabethu o-D. They just classify D so that you don't qualify. So many of women were saved because of what the black-sex did, but not only what the black-sex, what those people who attended did, because you attend to be informed. With the information, go out and help. And,
So black-sex was the white liberals, the white liberals.
Yeah, in the leadership, but the members, I'm sure the black, the black and white. But they were nice people, hard workers, sincere. And for them to do that was not an easy thing to do because the government would take them to task and all that. But those were important meetings. I always encourage people, let us not redo the Rasa. And I also wanted to mention the fact that I became the first black president of the Mothers Union. So then it was, the diocese was a large bekhona ama-divisions ukuthi the slept or diocese of the high federal. It was just
because I think this is later in your life, because
it was 97. It was
still around the 70s.
It was 1974. Yeah, it was 74 actually. Yeah, it became the first place, and also it happened because I asked the then president of the Mothers Union, now, how does it come about? Because I never get to know what elections the new president is. But what we do when you are about to retire, someone else is spotted out will take over from you. That's a white president. Therefore, it meant akukho elections. Bazawuthi uNtsiki is suitable. Bafake igama kubishop uyamthatha. Thina ke the largest group ye-Mothers Union bekwabantu bamnyama salandela president wethu something ngathi kulo that it was a youngish president. But you know what? It means you are doing exactly what the government is doing. The government of apartheid, because it will never be a black person. You always choose among yourselves to lead this organization. That is so what decided when the workshop specifically dealing with that aspect of Mothers Union. And at the end of that workshop, we decided to follow proper way, democracy and all that.
Why would there be, what is the Mothers Union, and why would there be a need for such?
It's a women organization, your mama, Bekawe, Efanane Manyano, let me say Manyano, it's Manyano, and Ken, Yakalo, Mary Samna, England, and so on. But it's here now. The majority of members of Amnyama, with the leadership of Ilungu, and so on. So I challenge that in a very quiet manner, Guru Mama. White hat. When the workshop, after the workshop, wavulega nguku. Now vulega, I suppose they just wanted to challenge me. My name was nominated as the next president, and they followed the procedure, elect and all that. And the last word usually is a bishop. So the bishop, I'm sure, was excited that there's a black person also, a group of Belungu, abakhethiwe, Nkwe. So the Mothers Union worker, it was a white woman, and that is what used to happen. I retire, Upatalo Mary Samna is a worldwide office. It's in England, we are Patala, you work. So it's a white woman. She didn't like the fact that Abelungu kuba phuma kwesihlalo. So she was a bit difficult and made things a bit difficult for me, but anyway, the long and short of it, I was supposed to serve, the minimum is 3 years. I served 2 years. Goba, we had a conference, first conference after a long time. And when Go say viewer, I could see that, or the venue a conference, domestic workers section, ibakade be hosta. So ngabona ukuthi man ikare kuslow ukuseva. So I stood up as a president. Ndabeka umnqwazi wami phaa esitulweni, ndaphakama ndema phaa ndancedisa ukuseva. This white woman, the worker, lo mlungu was England, didn't like it. Waxola laba abanye ukuthi ndiyambona manje lo umeki President. So when I heard that being spoken, I did that because my mother was a domestic worker, and I'm prepared to help anybody, especially domestic workers, when I am able to be afforded anything like that. So they worked against me. I must be then kwabizwa a meeting where the bishop is white, then yonke into ethi mhlophe, and this bishop abamamele ke bakhulume ke so izinto zabo ukuthi I don't follow izinto kahle ne last procession ye Mothers Union. I wasn't there because I attended a conference health. There was a visitor from overseas, so I wanted to know. So anyway, the procession is not important. Deputy is abakona to process the conference. So my dad was, according to them, a mistake in couldn't. So Bishop, Mrs. Nkwe, at the end of the whole discussion, I want you to resign. I won't resign. You can chase me. What not? You resign, I won't. Well, I think your position, Ipelegeng, as anything to thank you, I stood up, took my bag, and walked out. Now, the difficulty here is the fact that Bishop is my husband's boss. The Archdeacon students are under Bishop. So now we can mom, and this is the situation. But not mina. I won't attend anything. Diocese, Bishop, Kitaba obedient and support the parish level, but not beyond that. And me and mom, I'll support you to marry highly Bishop Yana. Samkropa is a bishop, but more I didn't get it. So, and I'm a pepper in food. This is what happened. The first black president of Mazwai was chased away by the bishop. And that, the church was furious with me. How could I say that to a bishop? But that wasn't true. So it was an answer. But immediately after that, I got this invitation that I must attend inaugural lunch at Malethola. I didn't understand what newspapers do they read. Didn't they know that this is a bad person to be involved with? But anyway, the long and short of it was that inzozenza uThixo uvala ngapha avule ngapha. So Molly in that lunch uyabuza and how is Soweto? When's the conversation? Have you been to Soweto? What to know? Not well, I can't discuss indawo ngoba ngazi ngiqale kuphi nokuthi ufuna ukwazi. I think it will be important. One lady kade lapho omlungu wathi I work at the clinics. Molly, it's not a very good thing ube mayoress ungazi neSoweto. Molly took it up. Immediately, we organized a good uze Soweto. I got a call. They say 17. Hold on for mayoress Nancy. Kwarangit, how did Mamelagatin? Can you make a date? I want to visit. I was excited. Abisa some umantinti laba. Mama Baso, Lindimieza, ngathi hey nangumeya mayoress umlungu uzosibona must organize something no Mama Ponya. Oh, what a lovely lady, and very willing to help. Things that a day before the proposed date for Yangen, even the mayor wants to come with. Go, it was beyond me. Go, mayor, something, it's a big thing, was mine. And earlier on you asked, was the mayor black or white? Now we had a black mayor, Soweto. So, protocol, I must inform his office that the white mayor is coming to Soweto. So I could, Maruchipo, yonke lento yahamba kakuhle noma ntintila aba ayirentintili wagijima wabona walungisa beza bazongena eSoweto with the theme meet the people, and that was an excellent theme. Ngoba mayors used to say to me, Maggie, I want to meet teachers. Can you organize? We have dinner at the mayor's place and all that. So I'll do that. So it opened doors, and we were able to sibe nako. Yeah, nokubavula ingqondo abelungu, and nathi sifune lento sifunayo ngexesha esifuna ngayo, you know. So it went okay ngaloo ndlela ke. And then what else do I want to say?
We want to know how you met Molly to begin with.
Umoli angithena ngimithe ngendaba ye-inaugural lunch. Who suggested my name, I don't know. Ngoba we were 10 women for that lunch. And then from there, kwangena into yeSoweto. Ndimbuza now mbuza mina uthi how is Soweto? Have you been to Soweto?
Yes.
What need to know? So one other white woman said, and I work in Soweto.
Yes,
and Molly, you must just make time. And then Molly made time. And that in the Salinde Molly kweza no tata. So more openings were there, which bazobona iSoweto. So we did all
I'm
that.
assuming this is the 40s now.
40s.
Which era are we? 19?
70.
Oh, we're in the 70s. But you told us about the Women's March. How that came about, the Women's March in 56. Because you were alive.
No, I was young. 56.
Okay.
6 kaloku nditshate ngo-1960. Ndiqala isikolo ndina 10 years. So as much as jaziva sibancinci.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I was young. So sivile sabona sangena. Ngoba kukhona kaloku unsung heroines. Don't forget that.
Yes.
And some of us were there, but not celebrated.
Yes.
And for instance, I never waited for anybody to celebrate me. I did what I thought was right to be done at that time. And I knew that I work with other women. That is born. For instance, there was this thing, Jack Rolling. Abantwana benza iyenzeka nangoku kuna abantu bagwazana and all that. We had that ngathi, but and then the newspaper came. There was an article, a 13-year-old was snatched out of the classroom yakhe eDiepkloof, and utata walo mntana uprincipal apho. Now when I read the story ngathi Nkosi yami, how utata lona, how does he feel? Umntana ukhutshwe eklasini yakhe and he was helpless. So I quickly called Abu Irene, means that, hi, we have to organize a march. Siye kwesi sikolo. Lo principal asked, we are here to support. And we are going to march from Deep Kloof to Orlando West. There's a little kopinyana, intabanyana near yeah, exactly. Apostles. And then as we walked down from Deep Kloof to Orlando West, yazafika izimoto zabantu abaspina sathi mari asizubaleka siyaya. Do you know, after that session, meeting and prayers and all that, this Tebucho was a Tebucho boy, was found murdered at a garage. And we all said, imithandazo.
These are mithandazo yet.
Even now, not so long ago, I saw on TV, uthixo siphendulele, or actually besiphendulele. They were shot and killed. So, lo tata uthi uthixo siphendulele, uyabona? Anyway, that is how we used to organize and march against izinto ko-Rike misete quietly. For instance, my daughter lost her husband, she was still young and all that. And I could see how widows are ill-treated by their in-laws and all that. It's not the first time ngibona. Kaninzi ndiyaya since after, I used to refer to it as post-care, post-funeral visit. But that's when you get to know the situation. So this time it happened to me, to my daughter. That was later serious, I must do something. Then I started Widows Forum. And yakhula, saba ne-conference. Ndacela ukuthi uTata Mandela bekhona, he couldn't, but wathumela message, which was that to us, it meant a lot, And one woman at a global conference, ubuza uMrs. Gqabi, Aurelia, rest her soul, she's recently been buried not so long ago. Uthi kuNomazotsho, uMaggie lo, ebekweyiphi camp, I keep on looking for her, I can't find her. Athi uNomazotsho, ebekweyiphi camp kuphi? Exile. Hayi uMaggie is inside. Akusi exile, inside. She's never been to a ezo camp umfuna khona bungeke umfumane uzamfumana apha.
She was in the battleground.
Yes. So it was quite interesting because this woman never thought any of the Israelites could do anything like what we were able to achieve and work on. Now, Mama. For instance, abaninzi, I had to Father Mulale, nonkosikazi beseBotswana, eyidini yaseBotswana. It was a good connection, ngoba uphuma pheso wethu, mari soseBotswana usebenza apho. Abantwana bethu abaninzi baphaya, so it's easy to get to know sinceda kanjani. Katsela efing Mulale unatlari yana mang mama senze umthandazo omanyano interdenominational. And then I remember one time ngingabizwa pha Protea, excuse me, I don't question her, bari uDebra Mabileza now uthi umthandazo womama. We are an Anglican. uDebra is not an Anglican. Bayazazi zonke izinto ukuthi ubani ngubani bani. Yeah, utlele ngithi kaloku icawe, the door yecawe ayikhiwa, ihlala ivuliwe. So anybody who batla go kena wa kena a kry thapelo a phume. So into ezifana organizer sibona sinceda kanjani. Mabuncedeka khonagala mo khonagalang teng. Now I think I want to jump in pha kuMpho le Mphonyana. Newspaper again, editorial. Tatu agri-class ubhalile. Hey, it's nice. I mean, twins up Parakwanes, and we are going to adopt, use that word, adopt the Siamese twins. And then Mama Simba, and ato chakara banabahai, Simbukele hotel and all that. Adoption, a phone immediately. That I agree. What do you mean by adoption? What do you mean? What okay? I think organize few people. Let's interrogate this whole thing. That's how we started Mpho le Mphonyana Trust. Then I had to Belede, the giants next to me. Was one of the members. And then I'm mentioning her because she was a hard worker. She used to, what else can we do to help, this family? I remember the woman, we managed to get her from Klerksdorp to Bara. Some kasha, some patala, gemali, and which was also beautiful. No one held cash. It's an account number. Every donated to the lab. Eventually, we bought the family house at Petipluf, we paid Sophie a better salary than what she was getting as a domestic worker. So we did all that, Mpho le Mphonyana Trust. But I must come to this thing. Then Mama Kola wapatwa chicken pox, and she couldn't visit the babies. So one who knocks at my door, Belede, Gogo Maggie, that woman, she's not allowed to see the babies. So it means she doesn't know, doesn't follow what is happening in Kubantarabaki. Masambi, she Pick and Pay, Kotropong. Tata can no tata betanga macruza con. Gisantin Pick and Pay or yeah, I think what imali that is Pele Paya. Masambi yufuna TV. Sahamba naye. Wamba phambili ngithi uyazile indawo. Wazi zonke indawo zaphaya. Wafika knock at the door yale ndoda wamchazela yonke into. Saphuma pho ne-TV. Without paying a cent. Saza nayo sazoyiplaga phaya erumini kaSophie so that she follows up the proceedings zomntana wakhe. Ubani uzonalo ingqondo? Belede. So even when they were discharged, the TV is up at Klerksdorp. So we did a lot for the community, quietly but effectively. And not very many people recognized, but we were not doing it to be recognized, we were doing it to be effective. To whoever wanted to get in answers. We helped family Mpho le Mphonyana. Milestones in number 16 were there to do something. I remember, I think even 21, lapho se-arrange ukuthi abonane the president. Ngithi mos angithi Tatu Mandela icon noMpho ngoba Mphonyana passed on when they were two. Not Mpho icon, the icons must meet. So I arranged, could we go to Mandela's place? Mpho thatha isithombe notata and all that. So anyway, that is the work I, in a very humble manner, carried out, listening and acting accordingly. And to me, what mattered was responding to a need. Not only one day, respond and help until something happens, until that person can stand on his or her feet. Then let me quickly come to when my husband was made bishop. It was a very difficult time, I must say, for me, but it meant relocating. I would never send him to come to this part in Sunday, all at home, all at home. I had to get someone else, which was Belede Mazwai, which was a great help for me. But coming this side, I just said to myself, I am here not to lead anybody, but to work with people and bring them up. If, that was my, bengayazi le ndawo nabantu bakhona and so on. So I offered myself to drive my husband around my church duties, because by so doing, I get to meet the people and get to know them and see how we can help together, how I can offer any help. So it was beautiful because ulapha altering where shumaweza mna ndihlela no mama siyathetha ndiyabona ndiyabuza. From there I know exactly what is it that we can do together to sincedane. So I was an unpaid driver, and every time I think at least at Christmas we used to have Christmas lunches. Why couldn't anybody marlo mama? It's an unpaid, just to give her honorarium or some kind. I never got that. But it didn't stop me because I knew my intentions would never be changed by that. But I think if I was one of the people, I would have thought, hey, Marlo Mama. Because I took the job of a driver to drive my husband. And he used to conduct, like Christiana is 2.5 hours and all that. So he used to do his morning services. By the time speak up here, so and the needs were very clear, and I worked with the people. We started into preschools, not ordinary, no, the teachers must be trained. Bayagupi, Federal School, Tataise, Jane Evans's programs. So train teachers, people are well trained. They come back to do effective services. So we used to have in and cigars. And as I think between preschool, mama before Zamaya. This happened when I was in Lotronstadt. Before you go back, I want to take you to this family. I got there, one thing led to another. Now I'm to Mama, my twins, and scabies, all over. And when I looked, the other two children are standing there, they've got sores. And I say, Nyaweni, with past and all that, complication of scabies, not treated. But so to say. So I had to act. And action was practical. I'm not going to leave these two children. If you leave that condition, it will affect the kidneys. So, trust me, here is a woman who's brought me here. I'll bring your children back. That's how you've got to act effectively. So the twins, I woke up the following morning to take them to the local clinic, only to discover there's more problems in the clinic. Last figure, people are sitting outside. Why are you sitting outside? Hi, clinic here is so bully. Sister Wakunmaga. Sister Wakunmaga. Hey. There's nobody else employed to do that. Can I sang Wakunmaga Atron Sadikadi and all that? Yeah, something led to something. That got me young. My sister, I'm sorry. And later my twins. Ufageni, on top of the white, the overall, which angenyan clean so that I was Nancy. So I need to get, I'm sorry, Kikopa treatment for one aid. Anyway, the treatment I knew that was also in because I was primary health care. Yes. So they got lapong Nibuya, Kutaragai, Article 2, so it. And they took me seriously. We asked Bantiso Tenabo Akriaba, Thami Malume. So they sent a reporter. In no time, the story was out. Now, sister, we clean out, we don't. And the long and short of it, a clinic was built with clerical staff, with everything clean and all that in the same area. But the greatest thing also was preschools. They developed well, and I never really chatted you supporter. I've got the Americans. I used to attend meetings, the consulate up in Joburg. Pastor Konamos, resources in Kalapagubu. And I used to make it very easy. You need to come and see, visit. Because when you see, then you know. And when you know, you act effectively. So, Mesa, Bazovaracha Babon, Matibon, my pit toilets, these very little toddlers will fall into this pit toilet. We need flushing toilets. The Americans did exactly that. They buy a budget yabona, wakua, basthengela matafula bantwana izitulo. It was like, we are in small heaven. But there was a crash in the area, Dotronstadt, in a Mkuku. Balala pantry, badlela, yonke into habata ingathi bazezoo. Uzobona abantwana bahlele etulweni, amatafule and all that, and the rest of the things that are accepted anywhere as norms, apha bezingekho. So those are the things. And the important thing, I am not running those crashes. I get the people there to be trained. The other thing, Sati Umian Wamati, I built Ipelegeng, Soweto. But here, I think we have to develop people. And the way to do it, we're linked with New York Diocese. Kuma now, Bishop Bakona, this is what I would like. I want our people to visit New York. And that happened. And it was like a joke because people never had to get passports and all the things that we have to do to get visas, but to manage to get them. And I remember one guy from Mfundis was serious. Late why has it delayed? Delaying by provision, Mphago, aeroplane uzohamba nomphako. Nefika pha ulate hayi mama nekemisi mama athi samufawo wani aeroplane nakho mphako nitya phaya, you know, just to as an example yokuthatha into abasa-understand kana ki but they went overseas and sangathi asipheleli ebafundisini. Mnakamo terrible me, improve women and the youth. Nati good bishop, well, how about getting the youth to go overseas? But we have a aeroplane because at Orlando Children's Home I used to have exchange students who came and eventually they are like family. David Curtis is still somehow a family member. As an exchange student at Orlando Home and geared himself with community. So lapage start we are coming to improve the people. We organized youth to go to New York. And some of them came back to be a mayor. One of them was a mayor at Luxembourg. You know, it is just beautiful to see.
Your seeds.
Yeah, well, what you can do quietly and effectively.
You know, you touched on such an important and iconic piece of land structure, institution, Ipelegeng. Can we unpack that so that the youth understands what Ipelegeng is and what it did for the community?
Ipelege, it means carry yourself. Somebody, but you can't carry yourself when you are weak. You have to be made strong to carry yourself. So that is the name. But it's amazing how sometimes when you do umsebenzi awuboni bengathi into eqhelekileyo. Not so long ago, I attended a funeral at Holy Cross. One lady was being buried. Sitting in front of me was a gentleman, President Azap, King Azap. So people came to share with me, Madam Yamfanzer, Madam Nkwe, Neti, Ati, yo, Nkwe. Wahopula. Kena so ito, ke koshebile, ke bisofela ngasa kumbudi. Actually, the friend I tell me, this woman, no wake. They were down to earth and working effectively nabantu. And mna mema Nkwe hupula ko Sunday school, where I attended a party, a Christmas. I don't even belong there. My friend said, "Kuna Christmas party." So I went there because of the Christmas, in being invited by a friend. My figure paya, I'm a toys, I'm a present, I repeal. I don't have a present. And you just said to the teacher in whose class I happened to work, you went away. I don't know where you went to. You came back with a wrapped present. And can you imagine what that means? What that meant to me. So this friend, Mama, Munehe account number. This guy owes you a lot, and we made a joke. But Lilonke, my husband started, he used to go overseas. I found an industrial mission. So he came back to plant back and start projects like candle making. White City had no electricity. And waqala lento yokwenza amakhandlela ukuthi training. So Ipelegeng started there with all that. And we had Dale White was a priest working, it's a white guy, a priest.
How did you get to Ipelegeng? Did you build it? Did you guys build it?
We built it. Phela siqale phaya ngo-1963 uDavid Deacon wahlala phaya wenza umfundisi esoke phaya. So we were there for 26 years or something.
Did you live at that mission house? I remember there was a mission house.
There was a small one.
Yes.
Yes. When he became rector and all that. Otherwise, we were there all the time. We hosted our Sobukwe. Sobukwe had in-laws West Chabaf. So ebethine ezobona ubaba umama zala wakhe athi, Father, I want to pass through Ndikubone. Just and then obviously Sobukwe would come with security and all that, but he would insist that he has something. I take otiro aba. Ebe fundisa motorcycle. Ati, Father, I want to have more sessions. Lunchtime I'll come over. Then they do that. And so many, and this was Amakama. Not so long ago, one leader, official, would say, yo, noknali barkinki basement. Oh, Father, just fill up. Amaphoyisa azofika aseche angasitholi kanti sikhona basement. So the informer, whoever it was, did not inform them effectively. Ipelegeng was once torched by the system, and uThixo he didn't kakhulu, but Desmond Tutu was a bishop, archbishop, no, not archbishop, bishop, and brought a visitor who was supposed to give a talk, was prevented. But eventually, I agree. Kwabakati le ministers avuka Ipelegeng ichisiwe mari zange iche lore uthixo wavala kodwa the act happened. Ipelegeng had a library, and yes, Soweto only had one library, Orlando East. Ipelegeng, we had a library which was supported by the American government or consulate. And, you know, the TV is not a connector, TV, Nanton. 3 o'clock, students used to station UNISA, Bezabazo Jonga, connection with the world outside to get more information, more learned and all that. So we had all that, Belede, starting from nowhere. And then, not nowhere, starting from wherever. You know how it all started was that when David took over as the priest in charge, we had this mission house, and there was this ground
Yes.
which was not used and all that. Unfortunately, we didn't have the people abazawe cook. So my husband went to the council, ngicela i-landmark yale, and there's a church, there's a mission house, but there's this land, who does it belong to? It only, that was a stand for the church. So my husband put a fence around, and before we could even think of doing anything, building anything, that fenced area was used as a football ground. The Tigers. That football group went on for years and years and years, because I started there just to save that. So programs started. We had kitchen, we had offices for taxi drivers. They had their office there. And one time they hosted King's Religion. King's Religion was coming to address abantu bakhe. So abantu be-taxi bathi, Father, you must meet our king. So it was a big thing. So on his way going there, my husband said, now what do I do to greet the king? Like this, the guy who invited us, who was in charge of the Ipelegeng to show respect, but you say that just stand, and greet. And what a gentleman the king was. Yes, so it was beautiful. So we had offices for various programs. So Ipelegeng people began to Ipeleg. So my husband was also involved in the spread. So one time we had a visit at Belede spread. Dale White was assistant priest. Kati nakhona nale historical change ngoba all along abelungu bekade yibo bangama-rector, wena umuntu omnyama usebenza in assistant yomlungu. So David took it to the bishop, to the chapter, whatever, challenged that. But why is it that always umlungu phezu komuntu omnyama? Bathi sizakubonisa ke sawenza wena rector law. Who would like to work with David, this Dale White, what I would like to work with him. So that's how it started, And the beauty of that now, we went to Belede in a meeting at TRC commissioners. When when I got there, I saw these commissioners. Ngabuza question, how does one get TRC to come to conduct whatever you do in the area? Banchazela kahle, but we come and get few people, we give you informative session, and after that we can arrange. And indeed it worked. We got TRC up at Clefton Hall, and people of this area, benefited, because of, as I said earlier, go out and get informed and learn. If we didn't attend, I see information, commissioners, we wouldn't have known. And if I had not raised my hand to say, how do we get? Because I see, how does it go about? We get to be invited. We train people and all that, and we had TRC here. So, Ipelegeng has, and thanks God, it still stands. It was not easy even to build, but by God's grace, it was built and it carried on and on and still stands. And we hope it will continue to serve the community as it ought to serve, to be served.
Legacy.
Yes, yes. So it has difficult and a struggle, but it's not that we're not interrogated. I know that other people said, why were they not arrested? We didn't have to be arrested. Not everybody had to be arrested, but we had to work the way we did, and it worked. Like Joe Gabi, for instance, came back from prison. He was in Robben Island for about 12 years. And then when he was discharged, released, I was working with his wife as primary health care. We were together. So in no time, he came to David, husband, what ngicela ikhona nyana yena sike ngiyenze project yokuthengisa nutritious biscuits and kupukani. Joe started that, and my husband would never say no to to help people. But now I know afterwards, it was just a front. No, in no time he was rearrested. He was among the 12 Pretoria long waiting trial. And thanks God, when the trial ended, he was accused number 6, because the first 6 were released. The 7 to 12 went back to Robben Island. So Joe had to leave the country, Botswana. So we kept on doing what we had, that soft voice saying we must do. Like Mutona, Mahatsa Zaphonia, Mutupi, used to be a great helper Orlando home. If we Sabantano Pula and so on. So one time I couldn't get her. So quite constantly me to Apo organizing committee invited all the wives of my detainees, long-serving detainees, Abu Mandela, Abu Sisulu, and Mutupi. So I saw her there. How Mama Khone ke go batla. Hi, phone ya ka I don't have money to pay it. Kari, you don't have money to pay. When you are bana, Thami le Belede. When I came back, I was like, hey, now Mom took a phone. what what followed the time he took it up, Belede, and the next thing nathi sasikhomitha ke ukuthi sizawumhambisa avakashele umyeni wakhe eSun City nalibelede silanda umama simsa eSun City. Naye she was so generous with her visit because she said, I'm going to use half of my time, the other half I'm giving it to the two of you. Go and see Tata. That was, singasavuyanga naye vuyile. And these people knew ever so much, so bephaya behind bars. Ngoba utata uMthuping uthi kimi, and your daughter got married. We saw it in the paper. It was, I was so touched. It was funny, but quietly we saved the people, saved everyone needed to be saved. And as I say, with your mother, a giant of note, we worked tirelessly with her to reach out to everyone who needed our help.
And I don't want to wear you out, but you got an award here for gender equality. What is it about your journey that would make you have this award?
Human rights, human rights, I don't know, because I don't get to nominate myself. But I was nominated, and whoever is watching sees, and they nominate, and the next thing I was called, there is this award giving meeting or whatever. So I went and I got it, I suppose.
And it's not the only one, because here you've got the Order of Councillor of Baobab, and it's for the devotion to the community through serving the less fortunate.
And that was always what I offered myself to do. That's why I resigned my post and gave up a pension. I never had pension. Yonke le minyaka ndisebenza ngoba kaloku resign. So I lost. But losing it to gain, to help people, is most gratifying. And nasecaweni angithi Bishop wangixota kodwa yeah, 2000 I got this is the Simon of Cyrene.
Oh wow.
Simon of Cyrene is the highest award which is given by the church for having to go out of your way to serve people. Simon of Cyrene, as you know, he was asked to help Jesus carry the cross when he fell twice or thrice before he was crucified. One of the people who assisted him to find Waiti Matlanyana for a walk on was Simon of Cyrene, was instructed to take the cross and carry it. And that is what most of us are asked. Can you make life bearable for someone else to proceed to live like a human being? Make the burden bearable. That's what we are asked to do. And I wish we could do that earnestly as human beings to help one another. And that has been my life.
Thank you, Saint Gogo Maggie. Thank you.
Ndiyabulela nami nakuthabisile bona bana babelede Thami. We stayed together as lovely neighbors. I remember Belede would not stop talking as a Paya Banonomsa. Malume will press the button. Yena Belede, yo, Malume, kukomekte dihamba ngoku. Yena time utare hamba uyekhaya mina ngisazobulisa umfundisi. No, bachitshane ngaloo ndlela kodwa it used to be such a wonderful community. Sihleli kamandi. You know, there's a lot that can be said, especially uBelede. uThixo wam led her during her last days because she used to confide a lot with me. Gogo Maggie, I'm expecting a baby. Now I have to ke bue le ngwana wa ka o mogolo. Now the time we've got to tell the truth about the umntana lo mdala ukuthi utata kwathini kwathini kwathini. I feel I have to talk and put things right. That Belede, God will help you. And that's exactly what they had a weekend apho bebathathu bediscussa khona kwalilwa. She came back to report and we were all crying. But at the end, Tantan said to the father, but you are a great father. I love you more. And it was beautiful. Shortly after that, the very Belede was gone. And had that not happened, how would everything would have happened? It would have been a challenge. And that thing, in my ministry up, Namakoskas, I preached, tell the truth about everything about Donabelu. At the end, it benefits the children more. So, a lot I learned practical lessons from Belede. And I am forever grateful because I passed that on to other people. And I'm so happy that today, I don't, if I can ask her, do you remember when I came to see you in Meadowlands? You were a baby. She would say, no, I can't remember because I was a baby. But I came to see you. I knitted a beautiful blanket for you. But
I still have it.
you still have it, listen to that. And all because ewe, enkosi.
Gogo Maggie Nkwe, you can Google her. You can definitely Google her. And we're so thankful for her contribution in the struggle, and especially the black radical feminists. This is where we suck from. MOYA u light, MOYA u bright. See you again next time.
Who are you when all you were has been diluted by lies and white lines cancelling out all that which has been written of your history? Why do you look at yourself as a mystery? Doesn't the sun shine because you open your eyes? Doesn't the moon stay situated within the same stars your DNA sparkles off? Your spirit knows that surely corner into e off. Buza umoya so you may return to being well off. Because spiritually you are rich, yet your ancestors cry because you are out of reach. But yours is to command all elements while God takes inspiration from the very mirror she looked at to become. Remember who you are and never finish just when they think that with you they are done.